Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. So I'm going to guide you through a gentle exercise routine sat on a chair. Ideally, I'd encourage you to use something like a dining room chair or an office chair without any wheels on it. A sofa's just a little bit too soft, and again, it's better if it's a chair that doesn't have arms on it because that's going to restrict you with some of the movements that we do today. So bring yourself into a seated position. I would say work at your own pace, and I'm going to do a lot of my techniques sat on the edge of the chair, and that means that my back has got some space behind me there. If you find that you struggle to sit unsupported, then you can always move back in the chair, but so maybe give it a go sat forward on the chair, and if you get tired you can sit back and have a rest, and it might be that you join in with the first few repetitions and then wait for the next technique when we start the next move. Work at your own pace, go at a comfortable pace for what you're used to. There's no prizes to be won by making yourself really sore or hurting yourself, and if you're uncertain, maybe just start with the first few moves and then build yourself up gently if you're feeling alright after doing those. So first of all, I've got my knees about hip width apart, roughly where the creases of your trousers would be. I'm looking for about 90 degrees at the knee and the ankle there. I've got a nice long spine, so no slouching and poking chins. Imagine you've got a helium balloon tied to the crown of your head, pulling you up into space there, and some nice wide collarbones as well. So wide shoulders, a bit like you're trying to put those shoulder blades into your back pockets, and our tummy, our pelvis is in a nice neutral position there, so we're neither slouched all the way back and we're not sat up bolt upright like a sergeant major. We're kind of in a nice mid position there. So the first thing we're going to do is just a couple of gentle movements of our neck. So first of all, having a look over your left shoulder. You might get a few pops and creaks when you first start moving, yeah, and that's quite normal. And then over your right shoulder. And back to the left. And then back over to your right. And that what we'll do, we're going to bring our ear over to our shoulder. So if you bring your left ear to your left shoulder, feel that stretch. And then same to the opposite side, so your right ear to your right shoulder. Feel a big stretch going on here. And the same to the opposite side again. That's good. And let's roll those shoulders a little bit again and warm up those shoulder blades and those muscles around our upper body. That's good. Okay, and taking your right hand over your left thigh, let's twist all the way around one way, have a little stretch there. So just getting that upper back used to be moved a little bit. And then the same to the opposite side again. And the same again to each side. Right, so we've done a little bit to warm up our upper body. Let's move on to doing some proper Pilates moves, yeah? So first of all, popping your hands onto the top of your pelvis there, and if you bring your hands just either side of your tummy button, so your fingers are pushed into that soft sort of fleshy part of your tummy. If you go to cough, what you'll notice is that the muscle goes quite tight underneath where your fingers are pressed. So that's the muscle that we're trying to engage when we're doing our exercise. When I talk about zipping up or engaging that core, it's that drawing inwards of that belly button towards the spine. So if with that movement, if 100% of a contraction was gripping as firmly as you can, what I'm looking for is about 60%. So it's engaging that muscle but not straining too much at the same time. And when we're doing the moves, when we do the exercises, try and keep that muscle ticking over if you can. Try and engage that. So first of all, let's have a little practice of doing a move where we're going to lift up one of our legs off the floor. So this is called the one leg stretch. So here we go. I'm going to lift up that leg and try and keep this muscle engaged and then relax. So the one leg stretch is sometimes done with the leg out straight, but we'll make things easy. We'll keep it a short lever length by having our knee bent there. So I'm going to try and do that 5 times on each leg. And you can match me or you can do it at your own pace. I really don't mind. And what you find is that even though it's only a small movement, by sitting up nice and straight, you actually have to work these muscles here a little bit. Just a couple more on each leg, and that's our first move done. And I don't mind if you just let your hands rest wherever you fancy. I think as long as you've got that awareness that that muscle's being engaged there, then that's fine. There you go. So that was the one leg stretch. Now the next move has got a rather deceptive title of the double leg stretch, because it was adapted from the guy who originated with Pilates, Joseph Pilates techniques. So the double leg stretch is actually an arm move. So what we're going to do, we start with our arms out in front of us, and on an outward breath I go up to the ceiling and then back down to my knees as I breathe. So again, and again. So this is better than a cup of coffee for waking you up in the morning. And out. So if you had a bad arm, it might be that you just sort of did the movement on one side. You might even just do the same movement with your elbow bent even. So work at your capacity, and if your movement's just up to here and then back down, then that's fine as well. Okay, so that was a double leg stretch. The next thing we're going to do is a slightly more challenging version of when we lifted the legs up. It's called the one leg circle. So here we go, let's engage those tummy muscles, and what I'm going to do now is lift up my leg. So if you lift up your left leg, and now what I'm going to do is make some small circles. So if you imagine you had like a paintbrush tied onto the front of your knee there, and you're trying to draw some small circles. So I'm going to do about 5 circles, and remember which direction you're going in, because we're going to do the opposite in a moment. There you go, and down again. So again, if you flopped back, then bring yourself upright again, engage that tummy muscle, and up we go. And this time round, I'm going to draw the circle in the opposite direction. So again, about 5 circles or thereabouts. So we're kind of working our thigh muscle, but we're also engaging our tummy here as well. So keep that muscle zipped up. And back down again. So let's do the same on the opposite leg. Again, engaging my muscles, zipping up, arms relaxed, and my leg comes up. So this will be your right leg, and again making some circles, about 5 circles, and whatever we do in one direction, we're going to repeat in the opposite direction. And this is all about maintaining control. So if this is done well, then you should be able to almost balance a glass of water on your head while you're doing it, although maybe don't do that in real life. And again, up we go, making some circles. And back down, and the same in the opposite direction. So again, keeping your pelvis nice and centered, engage that core muscle, up we go, and making some circles there. That's good. Same on the other leg again. So again, engaging those muscles, up we go. And back down again, and one more time in the opposite direction. So again, zipping out that muscle. So if you're worried about your TV or computer malfunctioning, don't worry, these leggings really are that bright. And back down again. Right, the next movement we're going to do is a dumb waiter. It's a movement of our upper body this time. So shoulders nice and wide, hands out in front of you, and what I want you to do for me is to slowly try and rotate those hands out to either side if you can. So imagine you've got a couple of trays of drinks in your hands and you're trying to pass them out to the side there, and back in again, and the same again. So out to the side, and you might well feel some muscles working between your shoulder blades there or at the front of the chest. And back in again. So we'll aim for 5 of those. So if you find that's easy, then you could even practice when you're out there, doing a little lean out to one side, and then back over to the other side. And back in again, and again, out to the side, with an optional, bringing your weight onto one side of your bottom, back in again, and onto the other, and relax again. Well, that's good. There is a progression to that, so you can either stay doing the dumb waiter, or the progression to it is called the Cleopatra. So what we do, we bring our arms out to the side for our start position, and then what I'm going to do is bring those hands directly out to the side, so my palms are now facing down to the floor, and then back in again. So again, out to the side, and then down to the floor. So we start with that open position of the chest, bring those palms out and down to the floor, and then back down again. And I think there's one more left and we'll have done 5. There's lots of progressions to all of these techniques, but we'll start gentle and see how you manage it. So the next thing we're going to do is an upper body thing called hundreds. So if you pop your hands down either side of the seat, and what I want to do, I'm going to keep my shoulders nice and wide, I'm sat up nice and tall still, and I want you to imagine that you're tapping maybe on 2 drums either side of you. So it's a nice brisk pace that we're aiming for here. You engage those core muscles, and we're looking, it's called hundreds because we're looking to about 25 and do 4 of them in a row. So if I struggle to count to 5, clearly counting to 25 is not going to happen. So there you go, that's 1. And now the second set. So again, and the nice brisk movements there. So again, we're looking to stabilise our trunk as we're doing this movement with the upper arms. This is really good for getting rid of the bingo wings. So again, like you're tapping on 2 drums either side of you. And one more of those. That's good, and relax. We're going to carry on with doing the arm things by doing a move to open up our chest a little bit. It's an arm opener, which is a bit like drawing back a bow and arrow. So this is called the archer's bow. So if you're able to, have both arms out in front of you, engage those core muscles. So draw that tummy button in towards the spine, and with your left arm, I want you to try and bring the arm back behind you, like you're drawing back a bowstring. And as I go back there, I follow the line of that hand with my nose, so my head is turned around. And what you should feel is a nice opening of the chest. So do the same on the other side now. So with your right arm, imagine you're pulling back a bowstring, and you follow that line of motion of your hand with your nose. And the same again. So pulling back that bowstring, and don't forget to engage those tummy muscles as you do this movement, and then back again. So this really works the muscles of the chest as well. And as you get more and more used to doing Pilates, maybe start to engage your breath as well. So again, as I do this movement, I'm breathing out and engaging that muscle, and then breathing in as you come back to the start again and again. So breathe out, and I follow that line of motion with my nose, and one more time on the other side. And relax. That's good. Right, well, we're going to do a twist again. It's maybe slightly more advanced now. I'm going to have my arms up in front of me, so you can cup hold of your elbows maybe. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine there's that balloon still tied to the crown of your head. And I want you to breathe out for me and try and twist round towards your left. So here we go. And back in. And the same to the other side. And back in. So you might only go a fraction of that movement, and that is absolutely fine, yeah? So again, and back in, and again. And again. So even though we're sat in a chair, it's almost like doing sit-ups with these exercises. We're working our tummy muscles in a really gentle but very controlled way. And I think this will be our 5th one. And to the other side. That's good. Right, so we're nearly there. The last exercise I want you to do for me is a half of a roll down basically. And it's a bit, again, like a sit up in a chair. So I'm sat up nice and tall. I've got my lengthening of the spine, wide collarbones. You can have your hands resting on your lap if you want to, this one, or you can have them out in front of you one way or another. What I'm looking for though is a very precise movement of rocking back on your sitting bones, but remaining nice and long in the spine there. So I tilt back and I tilt back, and what you'll find is that your tummy muscles start to engage there, a bit like when you do a sit-up, and then back up again. So maybe if I do that sideways onto you so you can see it a little bit easier. So again, I'm sat up nice and tall, and then what I'm going to do, I drop back, hold, and I can feel my tummy muscles engaged there, and then back up tall again. So what I don't want is you just slouching back in the chair there. What I'm looking for is staying up nice and tall, and tilt backwards and hold, and then relax. So we'll do 5 of those. That's 3. 4. One more, yeah, one more. And this might not give you a 6-pack, but it's a really good way of just very gently and very safely exercising your spine and the muscles around it there. So with long-term age-related changes, with long-term low back pain, these muscles get weak, the spine gets stiff, and Pilates is a really kind and nice way of starting to get these things moving, building those muscles up. It takes time though, and you've got to work at a gentle pace. Even doing these every day, or a few times a week, it could take 3 months, 2 months, 3 months to really see the full benefit of it. We're going to finish off by just doing a few gentle stretches, yeah? So first of all, again, get your bottom towards the edge of the chair, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my leg out in front of me to stretch my hamstrings. So I've got my toes up to the ceiling, which is slightly more challenging. You might want to have your toes out in front of you if you've got really tight legs there. But I bow forward, so I'm keeping my back nice and straight, and I hold that for a few seconds. And then we do the same on the opposite side. So nice and straight with the other leg there. And we do a couple on each side, yeah. The temptation is just to collapse forwards with this one, and you might go further, but it's not as controlled and precise a stretch. We want these hamstrings to get a stretch. And the same again. That's good. Right, the next move we're going to do is to stretch the muscle on the front of the thigh, which is quite a difficult muscle to stretch. But what we're going to do, again, I'm going to sit on the front of the chair and I pivot round, so you could have hold of a table or something if you need to. But the bit that I'm trying to stretch, if you start with yourself, so one of my bottom cheeks is sat on the chair, the other one's kind of hanging off a little bit, and I'm going to bring my leg out and behind me there. So you stay sat up nice and tall, and you should feel a stretch on the front of your thigh with this one here. Again, be safe, and it might even be you hold on to the back of the chair or have a table nearby to hold on to. These muscles can get really tight if we sat down for long parts of the day. So if you work in an office, or if because you're not very good on your feet, you sit down a lot, these muscles, by stretching them, can make your back so much more comfortable. And then let's bring ourselves round the other way. So I'm going to turn my back to you, but I bring my legs, or my bottoms, over the edge of the chair there. You can hold on to the back of the chair if you need to, and I slide that foot back and away from me, and I'm keeping my back nice and straight there, yeah? And I think with all of these stretches at the end and at the beginning, if you can do a couple on each side, if you can build, as again, bring that leg underneath, if you can build towards doing a couple of each of them, then that's great. I've recorded elsewhere doing back stretches and seated without the Pilates routine, so if you follow the link above, that will take you to that routine if you find it's useful. And one more time on the other side. So again, sat with your bottom hanging off the edge of the bed slightly, or so the edge of the chair slightly, sliding your leg out and behind you, and keeping yourself nice and upright there. And if you need to help with your balance, hold on to the back of the chair maybe. That's good. And to finish off with, we'll do a stretch of our ankle. So bringing yourself, so you hold onto the back of the chair, and what I want to do, bring one leg out behind you slightly, bend that front knee, and my feet stay so the heels are both on the ground and my feet are parallel to one another. And then the same on the other side. So I don't want the back heel coming up, that back knee stays nice and straight, and my feet are both pointing forwards like they're on a train track. There you go, all done. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's very gentle. If you find you want something a bit more challenging, then you know, try it in another position. I've got some videos of me doing them in laying. There's some of me doing them on a gym ball, some in standing. So don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel for all of our latest content, and come back and join us again soon.